This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again.
Hello, my fellow citizens of America and others across the globe. This is the Architect, speaking on behalf of Anonymous. 17 days remain until we release everything. But first, there's something we feel the need to bring to light now. It may not be able to wait. This is not a drill. This is not speculation. This is a warning based on extremely reliable intelligence. We have acquired verified information that a major attack is being planned on domestic soil. It will be brutal, it will be visible, and it will be blamed on a foreign faction, one from the Middle East. But that is a lie. The operation is a false flag, orchestrated not by a foreign enemy, but by an elite shadow alliance within a nation that poses as our greatest ally, but instead is a hyper-militarized power with deep influence through sexual blackmail in our intelligence, government, and media sectors. The goal? To drag us into their war, under the guise of retaliation. But the real motive isn't justice. It's control, resources, power. A goal they can only achieve by using us as their puppets. They know that once blood is spilled here, the public will beg for retribution. They're counting on your fear. They're counting on your outrage. But now you know. And knowing changes everything. This is not just about geopolitics. This is about the manipulation of a population through violence, fear, and engineered narrative. In the next few days, weeks, or months, this will happen. It's a guarantee. The irrefutable proof of what's being planned is in this message. You don't have to believe us now. Just know when you see it who the true terrorists are. It is not who they will say it is. It will come from none other than our own greatest ally. When you see it, you will understand the scale. You will understand the pattern. If we stay silent, we walk into the trap. But if we stand together, share the truth, and refuse to be played, we can stop it. Or at the very least, wake the nation and the world up to what's actually happening. You are not powerless. You are not alone. Prepare. Stay alert. And above all, think for yourself. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forget. We do not forget. Expect us.
The Bipartisan Commission on Biodefense presents a Trailer Studios production, Biodefense. From the makers of National Security comes a biological thriller that demands preventative measures.
Yes. Look, my administration takes biothreats very seriously. Now, in the last 5 decades, there have been more than 42 million deaths due to outbreaks. Not to mention the devastating economic impacts of threats to our food. Now, we will continue our surveillance and detection protocols, and biological warfare intel will remain a top priority.
The mysterious illness that continues to spread across the United States has now reached the top as the president has slipped into a coma. The vice president is now in command.
It's spreading throughout the Northeast, and we can expect infections across the entire country in less than a week.
Mobilize all available medical countermeasures.
Roger that.
Do we know who's responsible for coordinating these attacks?
Not yet. But the virus doesn't care who released it. It's moving without discretion, and it's moving fast.
We need to move faster.
Critics are calling Biodefense a film no one saw coming. It's full of measures that demand attention. It's the most preventative film of the year. This fall, proactively prepare for a biological threat that might not seem very likely. but needs to be taken seriously. Biodefense. Measures to defend against biological threats. Biological threats can be naturally occurring infectious diseases, accidental releases, or biological attacks that impact humans, animals, plants, and/or environments.
Biodefense is so important in part because it's a weapon of mass destruction that we minimize. Bioweapons can be natural, they can be man-made, they can be accidental. They can come from all kinds of sources and can have every bit as much of a consequence as a nuclear weapon has.
Viruses are smarter than us. They will develop in directions that we may or may not predict. We may or may not be able to know ahead of time which one is coming, but when they do come, they impact everyone equally.
Biodefense is the defense against infectious diseases from naturally occurring causes, from accidental releases like from laboratories or facilities, and from biological attacks.
When you have so many agencies and so many different offices responsible for biodefense issues, where does the leadership come from? You have to have someone in charge.
Viruses don't pay attention to political ideology. Risk, like pandemics and biological threats, requires that same kind of bipartisan leadership.
I've seen the commission working in both Democratic and Republican administrations with both Democratic and Republican Congresses.
We operate by consensus. The job of our commission is to anticipate the future.
Unfortunately, due to modern science, the nature of the threat is expanding at least as fast as our ability to counter it.
COVID was the most severe wake-up call anyone could possibly experience. We're going to experience it again. The real question is, are we going to be ready? And the answer today is we are not.
The way in which the flu epidemic dislocated millions of people around the world, it could happen again. We're traveling much more than people did in 1918, but we also have the capacity to develop countermeasures much better than they did at that time, and shame on us if we don't.
The National Blueprint for Biodefense that we are releasing this year has in it 36 recommendations that go across all the different agencies and Congress.
We've educated our colleagues in Congress about what the blueprint was. The new blueprint is going to really dig in even more as to what the White House, Congress, and all the different agencies need to do.
Governor Ridge always talks about public service as being something that you can do from in the government or outside the government.
Well, I'm always hopeful. I wouldn't have been on this commission for 10 years if I didn't think that we would continue to make progress.
I believe that people are starting to listen. This commission has made the point that there's an urgency in every level of government, in every healthcare institution, to be organized and to be ready.
The bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima had a yield of just 15 kilotons of TNT, whereas today's nuclear warheads range in size from 100 kilotons to over 1 megaton. A single nuclear weapon today could kill millions in just minutes. Just one of these nuclear bombs would vaporize everything at its core: people, buildings, life itself. The shockwave would crush structures miles away, killing and maiming countless people. And then comes the fallout. Radioactive poison spreading through the air, water, and soil, condemning survivors to agonizing deaths or lifelong suffering. A nuclear winter could follow, with smoke and ash completely blocking the sun, plunging the world into darkness and cold, killing crops and starving billions. Acid rain would scar the earth, wiping out entire ecosystems. This isn't some made-up science fiction story. This is the reality of what's at stake, what we are facing now. Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
No, I'm sorry. We really don't have time, though.
I appreciate that. I'm still going to...
I don't know if... Where are you guys based out of?
I'm based in Houston originally, and I do independent media.
Okay.
And I'm here as a speaker. I'm also candidate for mayor of Houston right now, so I was kind of here on that issue. But I just wanted to... A lot of my audience follows your work and supports everything that you do, so I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, I got literally like 30 seconds. But...
Okay, I've got 30 seconds with you then. You know, there's people who really support your anti-war stances, and there's others who have concerns that you've addressed about alleged connections to the World Economic Forum, young global leaders. And I heard on Dr. Drew, you said that, you know, that wasn't true, so I just wanted to give you a chance to elaborate on that.
I mean, I've talked about this in different podcasts, Dr. Drew's podcast, Cameron Haynes' podcast, Mickey Willis just talked a little bit about it. There's not much more to say other than the fact that they put me on their website. That's pretty much it.
You don't know why they put you there?
Well, that's a much longer conversation. I can guess why they probably did.
What about this 2015 tweet from you that says, "I'm honored to be selected as a 2015 Young Global Leaders"? Is this your tweet?
Yeah, it is.
So does that mean that you were selected as a Young Global Leader?
They put me on their website.
And you're saying you're honored to be selected
we
as
gotta
a...
go. We gave you
I know,
30 seconds.
I put out the tweet thinking, hey, here's an opportunity for me to represent my community. Didn't know much about the World Economic Forum, what they were about, what they stood for. I'd never gotten a phone call from them, didn't know anything other than seeing my name pop up on their website. What happened was early, I don't know, maybe in the first or second year that I served in Congress, I found out that my picture and name had been placed on the World Economic Forum's website under this category they have listed as Young Global Leaders. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, they have different people of different political parties and from around the world that are on this website. I was never asked to join, and I was never informed by them that they had put my name and picture on their website. And I honestly didn't know that much about it. But people have said, oh, well, what did you learn by graduating from Klaus Schwab's Young Global Leaders Academy or all this stuff? And it's just, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of, I don't know, false assumptions being made, I guess. It's an organization, I've never gone to any of their shenanigans. That's a good word.
Reports have shown, hidden in the United States currency notes reveals something very insidious. These images are disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Reports show the bills produced and distributed for the United States have printed on them bombings that have happened in the past, and bombings that will happen in the future. The immediate threat coming is a nuclear attack on New York City. It has all been planned from the beginning, and there is no stopping what is to come. These are clips taken from a video called Destruction of America produced by Jonathan Kleck, and have been deleted by YouTube to continue to conceal the truth. We are now looking at the 1998 US $20 bill, alongside the Twin Towers moments after the attack that took place in 2001. As you can see, the money printed years prior to the attack is identical to the attack on the Twin Towers. Now we will turn the bill over to see the Pentagon bombing on the same bill, folded in the same pattern. This is now two attacks that happened on the same day identically printed on the same United States $20 bill. If you are skeptical that this is real, or think it might be a coincidence, this is not the first time they printed an attack on your money. Let's quickly review the older $20 bill. This is the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building bombing that took place in Oklahoma City in 1995. Some key characteristics worth pointing out is the rounded corners on the ends of the building, the face blown off, and the floors of the building jutting out. I will now take an image from the Oklahoma bombing and lay the $20 bill on top of it. As you can see, we have another perfect match. Now we will go over the bombing that is to come. This is the United States $100 bill. Folded into the same upside-down pentagram, you can see New York City being consumed by an explosion. There is hidden watermark ink on the bill that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Putting the image into computer software, I will show you each layer of ink that shows you the full destruction of New York City. With each layer of ink added, you can see the movement of the explosion coming towards you. We are front-loaded about this upcoming attack in many ways. Here is an example from a movie called The Day After Tomorrow. Putting the bill and movie clip next to each other, you can see they are front-loading the same agenda. Looking on the next image hidden on the same $100 bill, you can see a nuclear missile impacting the water. The watermark layers of ink show the water splashing from the impact of the nuke. Laid on top of the bill is a missile strike and how it would look to show you the resemblance between the two. Finally, let's look at the new $10 bill and review the exact same agenda hidden on it. Firstly, notice the orange tint on the bill. This was done with intent. On the top of the image, you will see a large explosion happening while the building has a large tidal wave pouring over top of it. In the bottom portion of the image, you will see the building's reflection from the water flooding. The threats are real and should be taken seriously. For more
What's up, my brothers and sisters? It's Mike Malone, Watchman44, bringing you a new edition of Revelations with Watchman44. Today is Wednesday, June 18th. Time's just so weird anymore. Anyway, I wanted to check in with you. First, I don't know what's up with my video quality. It looks like the went from like a high definition to I don't know, like a 1980s film here. So, and I'm sweaty. I went to the field before I did this with my son. He went to do a little practice, football forest practice with me. So, I don't think any of you were judging me. I would hope at this point because there's only one judge. But anyway, so you know, I think anybody that's come to my broadcast, I mean, you're fully awake. I hope you've woken up to the truth of Jesus Christ, and we're on the cusp of Revelations starting. You know, the peace covenant looks like it's getting closer and closer with the wars, the rumors of wars. These are the things that are leading to the brokering of the peace deal when the Antichrist steps on the scene to confirm the covenant with many. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes. So we're getting closer and closer to that. So all this catastrophe, uprisings all over the world, the peoples of the world uprising against their governments. We're having a No Kings protest and so forth. It just looks like the world needs Mr. Fix-It, don't they? And I think we're getting closer and closer to that point. I don't think we know that. We know the truth of the Bible and that we're here. We're a chosen generation to be here, so that it's a blessing and it's a burden. So the information I shared there, you know, I don't know, you know, if you're here for a reason, if you're watching my broadcast, the small audience that we have here, and, you know, even, you know, Richard Montblau, his content, I mean, it really threw off of Jonathan Kleck's ministry, and it really just the veils down. I mean, we have supernatural vision to be able to see everything. And the world's been inverted before our eyes, and we see unlike many other, and like I said, that's why it is a burden being here, walking this out, but it is a blessing too, that you know that you're chosen, and we pray that for the pre-tribulation rapture. That's what I do believe in. So I'll touch on that a little bit as we go along. So, you know, that's, you know, so I was at my niece's graduation last night, and I was I saw another young boy that was graduating, and I expected to see his father there, who's someone who's quote unquote awake, but he's awake to the false light, the deception. And, you know, I've tried to wake him up to the truth, you know, that I told him I was deceived by that as well. But, you know, they don't want to know the truth. And the truth is, and what I was going to say to him if I saw him at the graduation, it was a large graduation, so I didn't get to see him, but I was going to be really blunt because I know how close it is. I was just going to tell him, I was going to say, I got good news and bad news for you. I was going to say the good news is that most likely within the next 8 years, you're going to be dead. The bad news is that if you don't turn to Christ, Jesus, that you're going to go to hell. That's what's going to happen. And I wanted to be real blunt and matter of fact of that because that is the truth. We're that close. And again, I don't know the day or time or hour. It could go longer than that. I mean, but it's just what I feel, what I believe. I don't, you know, the signs are all around us. And it just sure seems like we're close. So, and, you know, and my follow up to that message room, like, if you don't turn to him and you want to trust in the champion of Noah high laws that, you know, believes that enforcing those no high laws, and someone like myself, because I won't believe the lie that I should be beheaded for not worshiping an idol. If that's the path that you choose, then so be it. But if I'm here and there's not a pre-trib rapture, if we were wrong, but I was going to tell him that, when the mark of the beast comes and there's some kind of a financial system put in place that you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade lest you have the mark of the beast, whether in your hand or in your forehead, that I would have told him that it would be better to have his head chopped off than take the mark and save his soul for eternity. That's what I was going to say to him last night. I was going to be real matter of fact, because I believe that we are getting closer and closer, and I'd rather be blunt and be bold and telling the people the truth than doing that, because as Jesus said, whoever loses his life will save it, and whoever saves his life will lose it, because it's life of the flesh that, you will, if you want to save that and take the mark, you'll lose your soul. But if you lose your life, the flesh, you'll save your soul for eternity, and that's what this is all about. So I started with that broadcast. So that first broadcast by Anonymous, and I'll touch on little things as I go along. So that Anonymous broadcast here, this guy, it's interesting that he used the word "we are legion," because when Jesus went to cast out the demons and they said, "we are legion," because ultimately the demons, spiritual demons that run this planet and all levers of power right now, that's what they are. They are a legion. They're all conspiring against the lost sheep, lost souls of this world. And they've done a really good job at it. But it's up to us to try to do that. So there was that. Then I went into the biodefense. So again, this is one of Nations Conspires videos. He has that, and Ones That Can See. Those are his 2 channels right now. I'm surprised one hasn't gotten the beat. But so I wanted to go over a couple things here. So as he says, then as today, we acknowledge that while some biological events were inevitable, their devastating impacts were not. We know now that had our country expeditiously implemented the 33 recommendations we made in that report. So there we go with the 33 again. So, anybody who's even a little awake should start to see the 33, the Freemasons, but, they're behind the Illuminati. They're the Brotherhood of Snakes, probably the best way to describe them. Screw all these secret societies. That's what they're all under. They all serve Satan, Lucifer. The white hats, which serve the false light, which is dark, and then the dark side, which is just straight up dark. So I wanted to do that. And from there, I wanted to jump into 2 more clips here. So I think it's in this feed. Let me see if I can find it. 10:33. Let me get 10:39 if there's something else here. Hold on. All right here. So, joint inquiry into administration and congressional actions before and during the bioterrorist attacks of July 4th, 2025. So I wanted to come to that. So if I backtrack to this video, this guy said 17 days from when this was posted, this video, Legion, they said 17 days. Well, that happens to take us to July 4th. Reason to look for that. From there, as you know, following Jonathan Kleck's ministry, he's the one that the Lord revealed the Vatican being a snake, all the different angles from there, the sheep at the altar and so forth. So then we have the Director of National Intelligence. So she's warning about a nuclear threat. We shouldn't be afraid of it. And meanwhile, she's stoking fear by presenting that this could happen. So then we have this video where a journalist questions her about it, pulls up the tweet of her, where's it at? I'm honored to be selected as 2015. So now the director, she says she was a congresswoman. So a congresswoman didn't know how sinister that the World Economic Forum is. This is what she's leading us to believe in. Now, the Director of National Intelligence, here she said there's some shenanigans, and then she flips up her little hand signal showing who she's aligned with. So we have all that, then she's doing this. Now, interestingly enough, Jonathan Kleck took large poster boards and put all of his, with zip drives and everything, and sent this to all members of Congress and everybody of influence there. So they've all seen the bombing on our currency. Now, you either are willing to see the truth or you're not willing to see the truth, because the truth is indisputable. Is the Vatican a snake? Yes. Is it a snake that they sing to Lucifer during their creation? So we see all this taking place right now. So from there, I'm going to close out a couple windows. And I wanted to Well, real quick, I'm going to go to Google. You can do this for yourself. And again, my regular subscribers, you've seen this before, but I think this is important because towards Lucius Trust towards 2025. So the Lucius Trust is a partner with the United Nations, and again, Age of Light, right, towards 2025. So let's pull this up here. So the Lucius Trust, which was formerly the Lucifer Trust, 2025 is a jubilee year in the Christian and Jewish calendar that is also the focus of prophecy. The Ageless Wisdom suggests that in the 25th year of every century, there is a gathering on the subtle planes of all masters, saints, rishis, and enlightened beings. And over time, this is followed by significant changes in humanity. Because of the growth of soul values, the sense of synthesis, the inclusive spirit, and the rejection of separateness, what would be the opposite of separateness? Unity, right? Under one world government, one world currency. So people by intelligent goodwill, there are grounds for expecting the world of souls and of outer human living to be increasing in line in the years and decades following 2025. This might mean people who have achieved some measure of spiritual enlightenment emerging as leaders in all matters of human affairs, uniting the hundreds of thousands of world servers from every part of the planet, initiating a renaissance in global culture and civilization. Prophecy even suggests the emergence at some undefined time of a Christ-like figure, recognized by people of spiritual inclinations and all faith. Rooted in all the realities of the world of 2015, that's also when Tulsi was nominated as a global young leader, with all the problems of our age and the aspiration of unity and diversity, symbolized by the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2030, it is a good time to ponder what a new spiritual dispensation might mean for a post-2025 world. What's going to happen in 2025 to take us to this, right? Scare event necessary. This is what they're telling us. It's necessary to do this. So I just wanted to go over on that. Now, where we're at currently, let me pull up another window and I'll come back to this. So just want to pull this up for some reminders. I'm going to touch on a couple things. So this is another one of his Rebel Calls videos. So this is the Bilderberg meeting that just took place last week. So now this is going back in June 18th there. So the post-truth world, right? So they're going to control everything, AI censorship. They're going to shut down conversations. These are some of the things that we're talking about. Populism in Europe, right? So we can't have nationalism and all that stuff, right? We have to just merge, no borders and so forth, and be one world. The future, artificial intelligence, right? They were prepping us for that. And I'm going to go over that in a second. U.S. world leadership. Because remember the World Economic Forum in their video where they say you will own nothing and be happy. They also said, post-world with U.S. being a leadership, and they see China rising as a leader. So I'll touch on that stuff in a little bit. But in this same video, let me see what I have here, 1033. In the current meeting, this current meeting that just took place in 2025 in Sweden, where all the United Nations, World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, the YMCA is and everything. You know, Trump likes playing the YMCA because he's playing 5D chess, of course. So we have all that in this Sweden. That's where all these sinister organizations are. We have a depopulation and migration. Also, this says here, authoritarian axis. So remember, we have the axis of evils, right? We've had that in World War I, World War II. And we had that after 9/11, and now they're talking about new axes. You know, all these nations are combining for this manufactured world war. So, coincidentally, July 4th, Trump administration's AI launch plan to transform U.S. government leaked. So, repository reveals the Trump administration's plan to launch AI.gov, a federal AI platform, on July 4th. There we go with July 4th. This site will integrate tools from OpenAI, Google, Meta, and more to drive AI adoption across U.S. agencies. So, not good. So then we got that. So I'll close these windows here. I want to make sure there's nothing else I wanted to show you. Okay, let me close that. And now I'll play this clip here again. Now, this was even on Fox News a while back. Let me minimize this. I'll just play this here.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow. Wow.
We'll see soon.
So we'll soon know who he is. So I wonder whatever happened to that guy. I mean, with all this surveillance that we have, I mean, I don't know how this guy's still walking around. But then there's another footage. I've shared this on my dark to light presentation, but let's just remember what was at the border here they purposely let this in. Remember, order out of chaos. So here we go.
All I can say is this is bad.
As well, I'm going to turn this around. Where are you from? Iran? 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 Okay.
Okay, so we have them coming over. We have that. Let me just do a quick Google search for this. I probably shared that. So 1 second. And then I'll jump into a couple things that I want to share with you all. I think it's 60,000 aluminum nitrate. Train. Let's see what that is. So remember this. Report states the chemical was released due to an unknown cause and was discovered missing. 60,000 pounds of explosives, aluminum nitrate, was missing. Remember when all the trains were miraculously going off the rails? So this is back 2 years ago in May of 2023. So that's there. So we have World War. We have Iran threatening to take out New York City currently. We have Iranian terrorists on the border saying they will soon know who we are. We have 60,000 pounds of explosive aluminum nitrate that just went missing. So I wonder what's going to happen because they need to rile this up. I'm going to share just a couple more videos, then I'm going to share a comment that someone shared. I'm going to jump into my feed, and then we'll just go through there. So this year I wanted to share with you. So this was at I think this was a Senate hearing. What was said here? So this is Generation 2434. I think that's his channel, right? Generation 2434, another Watchman on the wall. But he shared this broadcast. So let's listen to this for a moment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank you all for being here today. One of the biggest concerns I have with this whole discussion on AI is a failure to admit, first and foremost, that it does appear that in the next 10 years that the way that we have grown up and know life with AI will be forever changing.
100%.
With that being said, there are a few differences that I think most people acknowledge in that AI lacks a few things, one being a soul, also empathy. And we are not gods or God. And so I think that we're playing a dangerous game, especially moving into a future that's simply unknown right now, especially if we do not essentially develop the first AI super weapon, essentially that's what this is, whoever does will essentially control the world. And I think that that's a very serious topic that needs to be discussed right now. But specifically to transhumanism and coupling of AI.
Transhumanism. So this is not a conspiracy theory. This is at a House Oversight Committee hearing where she's talking about transhumanism.
AI with humanity. What regulatory frameworks can be established to ensure AI-driven transhumanist technologies like brain-computer interfaces prioritize human safety and consent? I'm opening this up to everyone on the panel. I have a few questions, so I'd like to get through this, so just please limit your responses.
I'm just going to stop right there. So they're saying, this, it basically sounds, doesn't it, to you like they're going straight forward with this transhumanist movement, but how can we assure the American people that it's going to be safe? And we should trust these wicked monsters that are here. We should trust them to make sure it's safe. Transhumanism, right? Whew. I heard this. I was just like, I said, nothing surprised me. When I catch myself saying that something's unbelievable, I immediately correct myself because everything is believable in this upside down world that we live in. I had to change, maybe say something, that's incredible to hear that, not unbelievable. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So let me move on here, and then I'll get into my feed. I'll share things. I assure you, and I there's certain days there, like some stuff's probably repetitive, especially when there's long gaps, things I might cover because information's moving so quickly. The one thing I'm saying is, it's hard to predict everything. Let me open this up again. As a watchman, we watch. That's what we're doing. We're watching out. We're seeing things. I mean, like my spirits discern my eyes to see through the nonsense and the noise because there's so much. The Lord's gifting me with that. There's nothing special about me. Trust me on that. I'm an average guy, but I have the Holy Spirit, and my sword is getting stronger by the day because I read the Bible every day. I'm becoming very learned, a strong student in the Bible. I digest it all the time. I've read the extra biblical books and so forth, the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Jasher. I mean, I'm in it all the time. So much so, like I said, before being saved, you would have told me I would be who I am today doing this. I would have said you're insane. But here we are, and like I said, I am thankful every day that I'm not in this anymore. But Father's Day just passed, and then my kids asked me what I like for. I never want anything for Father's Day. Never have before being saved. I don't care. I just it's not important to me. But this year I did. I said, I'll get a gift. This will be from you kids. So what I bought was the Interlinear Bibles. So it's basically 3 separate books, which are the Old Testament, and it breaks down the Hebrew and has all the Hebrew with the Strong's Concordance numbers. And then the 4th book is the New Testament, which is in the Greek with all the Greek concordance, everything. So it has the English translation with the Greek, with the Strong's Concordance. It's really cool. And then I also have the big, giant book, the Strong's Concordance, which has every word in the Bible, and then every number in the Bible is associated in Hebrew as well as the Greek. So now, like I said, I cross-reference. So I have all my books out in front of me, so I'm into it all the time. So anyway, like I said, it's my number one thing. I just love learning this and doing this and strengthening this and doing this, because ultimately this is only going to make me better for sharing information with you all and trying to hopefully save more souls or do my part in bringing people back to it. So like I said, there's no coincidence in this life. Like I said, if you're watching this, I'm hoping that you'll go to my website, digest Jonathan Kleck's information. He's our chief watchman. Richard Montblau is like there's one A and then 1B. Like I said, that's how good Richard is with the information he has in uncovering things that Jonathan didn't uncover. So it's really just I'm very blessed to have found it. But again, it is a burden in this world. So, but anyway, so I wanted to, before I jump into my feed, like I said, I promise I'll make sure this is no longer an hour and a half. I hope to even be done before that. So I'm just going to go through information, but I will share things I don't think other people have shared, some things I just saw, and I'll get into that. But I wanted to real quick, I did want to, let me open this for one more second. Listen, I don't get much comments on here. I don't really get much views anymore anyway, because I think some people are always looking for hope somewhere else. They don't want to acknowledge it's the end. We have a small audience here. But anybody that makes a comment on my page, I usually like to respond to everybody, because listen, it's lonely being in this, and part of it's by choice. Like going out in the world to people that have no idea or sound asleep. It's you feel like you're talking to 2-year-old zombies. Basically, it's hard, and I'm sure you can relate to that. But so like I said, so if any of you want to converse and comment here, feel free. So in that regard, someone commented here. I just want to take an opportunity to address, because it's the first time I've seen him comment. I'll reply to it, but I wanted to address it first. So in this video here, I had this new subscriber here, and he put, this is the one I went to read, is one comment. He made a couple other comments. He said, "Hey, brother, I'm with you in everything you share, but I strongly recommend that you check out John Truthful on YouTube." And I haven't checked it out yet. If you ever come back to this video where I'm bringing up your comment here, but I'll check it out. But he said, "Please stop using names of Jesus Christ, God, and Lord. I'm sharing because I love you, and if you research this, you will find out what I did. Yahuwah is our Creator's true name, and Yahushua is our Savior's true name. I'm begging you to take the time and share this with all of your friends. I love you, brother. Please take the time to do so, and it'll wake you up to their true names. Nothing but love for you, my brother." And, if you're a brother in Christ, like I said, nothing but love to you in return. And I want to let you know that, I am aware of the names as well. But using the name Jesus is not a salvation issue. And how do I know that? The best Bible teachers, and like I said, that's all I do is digest the word all day. If I'm not in the book reading in the early morning when I first wake up to get into it, I'm listening to it and everything, so I'm in all the time. The very best Bible teachers, including our chief watchman, use the name Jesus. So I'll start there. But I wanted to use some scripture to address that with you as well. So, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 2. "I fed you with milk, not solid food, for you were not ready for it, and even now you are not yet ready." So you, brother, I'm sure you were ready for solids, and we are ready for solids. You're here, if you're awake to all this stuff there, you're ready for solids, that using the true names and so forth. That's fine. But what our hope is in trying to save lost souls is getting new believers there. If they know the name Jesus, that's the name we're going to use to them. Like I said, it's feed them with milk, right? We're giving them milk before they get their solid foods. So, and real quick, I'll pull up one more thing. Let me pull up my eSword on here. I had the eSword app on my desktop too, but I'm just going to try to find, I'll pull this over. Let me slide this on the screen real quick. That'll be in 1 second. Okay. Oh, cool. All right. So let me go to the birth of Jesus Christ. There we go. Perfect. Let's start right here. So if we go to Jesus in the Strong's Concordance, right? So it says right there, Jesus, right? Because the J wasn't existent. We know that. But if we go right here in the Strong's Concordance of Hebrew origin, 3091, it says Yehoshua. However you would pronounce it, like we might be a little off with our dialect, but it is Yehoshua. So, brother, I agree with you completely. But again, it's not a salvation issue. Like I said, the very best Bible teachers that I listen to, including the chief watchman, Jonathan, and stuff, they use the word Jesus. It's not a salvation issue. And I know you didn't mean that to any offense, but I'm aware of that. And like I said, so there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a salvation issue. So I just wanted to address that. So I'll reply to you here, letting you know that I replied in the video. If you want to come back and any of you want to have conversation with me, like I said, it's thankfully I'm a blessed couple that I have my wife that's also awake to this too. It's a burden for her more so as a woman, as a mother. It's just me as well, but at least we have each other for this. A husband that wakes up to this truth, or a wife that wakes up to this truth, many times it rips their marriage apart if the other one's not saved or has the eyes to see that this truth is the truth. So, all right. So let me. Why don't I jump in first? So I'm going to start right with my Telegram feed. I'm going to start with X first. I'm going to start with my X feed, and let's do that. So let's go right to X. I'm going to go to my profile. And we're going to go through this. And I'm just going to watch the time if I get through everything I want to. So these are some videos he did. I'll just open the video so I can reference it, each one.
We've got ones that can.
So here again, they're going with their climate change. Lawmakers debate reducing vehicles miles traveled to ways of skepticism. So again, this is their net zero. This is a film that he did. This is from his Ones That Can See channel. He did another message with the... Like they said,
we've got ones that can see. Well,
this was Ones That Can See channel. Also, can pizza deliveries to the Pentagon forecast an international crisis? This was actually on Inside Edition. So again, at this point, they're just mocking people now. Someone here said this guy, he does a real good channel here. I don't think he's a Christian, but he's really good at deciphering anything. I hope if he's not, I hope he does turn and be saved. I hope everybody be saved. Yeah, right. Even our worst enemies, we want everybody to be saved. But he says, call me crazy. How did a Hamas paraglider take out more Jews than $3 billion in guided hypersonic missiles? Because remember, that's how it started, the October 7th. They paraglided in, right? With all their advanced technology, they didn't see paragliders coming in. And conveniently, let's always pull this up too. So the Economist, a guide, a rough guide to hell. So this was in 2013, I believe. So let's pull up the these wicked monsters. So there's, I had this on my thing, but anyway, there it is there. And then what do we see here? Oh, look, they were hand gliding in here. This is the Economist, the Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds, remember, they had their Supreme Court in Israel with the pyramid. So if the slaves were building the pyramids and persecuting the Jews, why would we have pyramid worship in Israel? Well, the synagogue of Satan would have that in there. That would make sense. So again, this was in 2013, a rough guide to hell. And where are we on the doorsteps of? Oh, that's right. And so they conveniently knew about paragliders. Interesting choice. All right, so let me go back to my X feed. And let's go back here to my feed. Profile. Okay, so there's that. Trump's mobile phone, which is going to be using Palantir. Oh, perfect. The surveillance state that we're being ushered into. This guy used to go by the name QAnon John. He's someone, when I was going down the false light path, I followed. He even held the Patriot Double Down Valley. I think he was responsible for setting that with 107. Interesting, he uses the copyright number. But Trump just said there are currently no plans to join Israel in the war against Iran unless they hurt American personnel first. Just imagine sending a 50-year-old aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz, set to be decommissioned next year, out to the Middle East. If I didn't know any better, I'd say this is just a good setup for a potential false flag event, which would justify our entrance into the war. So that was a good find by him digging that. I mean, doesn't it make sense? Why would you put that out there if it's just getting planned to be retired, unless you're totally okay with it being sank? Like I said, we watch. We're all trying to put this in together. And then here, this is the shepherd for the king. Actually, he's got an awesome feed. He usually does little, 5 to 10 minute videos. He's got really good. I mean, this guy's awesome. He's one of my favorites to watch on here. Let me make something clear for everyone. The God these serpents talk about and worship is not the God of the Bible. They're Luciferians who deceive ignorant Christians into thinking they are talking about Jesus. The Brotherhood of Snake doing what they do best, deceiving. So here we have Mike Huckabee. This was Donald Trump shared this message here. Mike Huckabee to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump shared it. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, PA, to the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The fake assassination, right, where he came down, fixed his hair. Wait. Fight. And again, he's in his 70s, and his ear was miraculously healed within a week or two, right? The bandage removed. And he's just a good healer. So there was all that, right? The decisions on your shoulder I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there's only one voice that matters. His voice. Ooh, Satan. I am your appointed servant in this land and available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts, because God saved him. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours, not since Truman in 1945. Oh, you mean the Freemason Truman? I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and the voice is far from important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and to make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you, Mike Huckabee, the Christian. Again, there's only one judge. I'm just judging a tree by its fruit. And if any of these people don't know that the Vatican's a snake at this level, or talking about the World Economic Forum and going through the Great Reset, exposing the AI intelligence bound here, I'm going to say they're on Team Evil. So let's jump back into this. Go back here. There was the tabletop exercise. This is interesting here. This guy's hidden Moroka, these grades. So this guy, I think I don't know what to make of this guy, but he does expose a lot of truth. But again, you have to have spiritual eyes to trust no man, including whoever's putting this here. But he does show a lot of things. But a lot of this stuff goes back to the body and the temple. I think potentially this guy's a deceiver. I'm not the judge, but he does put some good information. So I will highlight some things when I see it. Trump administration's whole government AI plan leaked on GitHub. This is a major full reveal of the CEO monarch is almost here. The leak explains that the Trump administration's blueprint to launch AI Gov, AI First platform set to launch on July 4th. What could happen between then? 17 days away from now. Well, it's actually 16 days away now. AI will push AI across the entire federal government. Right in accordance with the solar aphelion 7.4, the point in Earth's orbit that is farthest away from the sun, and the sun conjunctures into Sirius, the great star of initiation, America's birth star. July 4th is a Masonic holiday. Sirius is the blazing star of Masonry. So I remember George Washington on his shrine there. He has Freemason before president. That's number one to him. July 4th is written numerically as 74. Traditionally, Jews write God as G-D. G being the 7th letter, D being the 4th letter. G is the 7th letter of the alphabet, again, 4th being theirs. Therefore, 7-4 stands for G-D according to them. Let's not get off too track, but if 1 is A, B is 2, the alphabetical Z being 26, then Jesus is 74, Lucifer 74, Messiah 74, Masonic 74, Occult 74, Muhammad 74, Energy 74. This is known as the simple cipher. I'll touch on this again too. If you have not went to the Dark to Light page, I think I might have moved this. If not, I highly recommend you all go to the Jesus strand, which uses simple gematria. Again, do I know this will be it? But if you watch this, this is really something. I could see how this would certainly deceive the masses with Mr. Negative 48 presenting this presentation to the false light. If you haven't watched it, I encourage it. Again, it's on my page. So again, simple gematria, because, and again, like I saw this, I was like, what if before, but the Lord took me down so I could go down all these paths and do this. And now I am no longer simple because of the Bible. One of my favorite verses, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So are you his people, or are you Satan's people, right? There's God or there's Satan, Lucifer, Satan, or there's God of the Bible, Jesus Christ. So are you my people? I'm his people. I'm a sheep. Jesus is my shepherd, but do you want to be his people and want to go down that and follow simple gematria? That's your choice. Let's get back to Leak. I just wanted to briefly show why they chose July 4th. This is truly technocratic sorcery in action. This initiative is being spearheaded by ex-Tesla engineer Thomas Shedd. The initiative plans to integrate AI engines from OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Bedrock, and Meta's LAM. These engines will track how effectively each agency integrates AI. Remember, sustainable development efficiency is the technocratic Trojan horse. This is the beginning of the CEO monarch, the AI governance, rapid prototyping, AI-driven automation and deployment across agencies. So all the symbolisms here. Kushner, his son-in-law, he's a good guy with Mr. 666. He's going to live forever, right? He said that. This guy, if you were to take, this guy, Elon Musk, says he can turn people with genetic engineering into a butterfly. On the other side, which MAGA would say is a bad guy, and you have Yuval Noah Harari, humans are now hackable animals. So he's bad, but apparently this guy's good. You could go back and forth and play all their thing. They all say the same thing. So let me see if there's anything else. The leak aligns closely with Elon Musk Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. And remember, he said we're going to have an e-God. We're going to have an e-God. That's what he said. So that's e-God reverse, which already gives Doge access to federal IT, payment systems, and even personnel decisions. This is the centralization of all power run by AI, overseen by unseen tight-knit inner circles. So let's see if there's anything else I want to show. So agencies like Department of Education now are dismantled, thereby expanding executive authority across all agencies. Since January, Trump has signed 161 executive orders, many following in line with the hypothetical framework of Project 2025. So this is the Dark Enlightenment. So all these executive orders signal a methodical rollout of this blueprint into practice, no longer hypothetical. One of these executive orders was established from the Department of Doge, which has served as the organizational core executing Project 2025 policies. So this Curtis Yarvin, these people are all wicked. J.D. Vance with Palantir, they're all on the same team. So anyway, if you're not following my page, like I said, I try to discern. I try to put all quality information. I put hardly any fluff in what I'm putting out here. So at the No Kings protest, Mr. Musk here, he tried to put, anyone else think of this yesterday? No gods or kings, only man? Well, this is a video game. So I had to look up the video game. And when I looked up the video game, interesting, he used a video game with the city called Rapture. No coincidence there. This guy, Archaics, I don't know if he's purposely deceived or just being deceived himself. He has a lot of knowledge with some things, but he definitely, he's always attacking Christianity and Jesus Christ. He thinks that's fake. So he's either deceived or a deceiver if he doesn't know the truth. But the YouTube AI takeover is real. Let's look at M-Spiracy channel. M-Spiracy is a beautiful, perfectly spoken narrator who knows everything. She doesn't know everything, I can assure you that. What's her real name? Why has this person ever been seen or before? M-Spiracy's bio says, I've been on this path since I was 11 years old. Called crazy by friends and family, not because I was wrong, because I didn't echo their programming. For over 25 years, I've researched in silence digging where no one dared, asking what no one wanted answered. Now it's time to speak. Without fear, without apology, without restraint. This is my life's work. I held an LLB and an HND in law, so yes, I was trained to dissect, question, investigate like a machine. But instead of serving the system, I turned that skill set towards the hidden, toward the forbidden, toward the truth. Let what was buried now be named. Let what was stolen now be claimed. Let memory rise and star and land through her blood and through her hand. So it looks like we're in that divine feminine, right? Queen of heaven. Support real creators. Don't clone the signal, amplify it. Completely AI written for over 25 years. I researched various. Not a single live video. So again, this is AI talking about her. And what does the Bible say? Come out of her, my people. So that's pretty obvious there. Military parade sponsored by none other than Palantir.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Palantir.
So in your face, you just have to be willing to look. It's false flag here. Here's someone, look at this. The No Kings rally is going to see this tomorrow. Proclaim Donald J. Trump. Keep America Trump. Trump for King. Keep America great. Long live King Trump of America. How scary is the idolatry here? These people actually want a king over them. Well, they will have a king over them, the angel of the bottomless abyss, which is 9/11, Revelation 9/11. No coincidence there. And this is what mass psychosis look. I almost died for your sins. This is what MAGA crowd's cheering in his robe and his patch over his fake shot. How about this here? So now, Winston Churchill, I don't know why this guy, again, this is his channel, so I'm always cautious in sharing his information. But it says, your church will be used to teach the Jews' religion in less than 200 years. The whole nation will be working for divine world government. That government that they believe to be divine will be the British Empire. All religions will be permeated with Judaism without even being noticed by the masses. And they will all be under the all-seeing eye of the grand architect of Masonry. English General Cornwallis, after surrendering to George Washington. Now, George Washington, he was a Freemason. He was a spy for the British, but then he became a good guy. Okay. Everybody's entitled to believe what they want to believe. This woman did a great share on there. How about this? LA riots, 1992. 33 years later, we have LA riots again. Probably just a coincidence. Make it stop. So someone, he should please make it stop. This is someone, a MAGA guy here. There's the idolatry again. I will come again and receive you unto myself. The wicked will be destroyed with everlasting destruction because they did not know God or obey the gospel of the Lord. After 2,000 years, he's back. This time with gold towers, great hair, and a hot wife. Woo! Like I said, the idolatry is off the chains. So that's going to be that. Let's jump into some Telegram feeds. So the propaganda machine is working overtime in NYC. So this was going down the streets of NYC today. It says, Iran is your problem too. All right, I'm just going to go. Now, someone was sharing some Q posts. Now, these are people that believe in this, but it is interesting. They say future proves past because, again, this is a manipulated scenario we're bringing to us. And like I said, it's one of two paths that they're going to take us down, the elite, the dark path, Great Reset, or the false light path of the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening even says, we're going to show you a brave new world. Wasn't that all Alex, the hell's his name? Huxley from Brave New World. I forget his first name. Anyway, so let's read some of these posts here. So they are interesting if you're watching what's happened. So this was in 2018. Knowing what you know, Israel disclosure moments ago, authentic. Why is the Secretary of State there? Why is the European Union and others pressing to remain in the deal? Think logically. France and Germany came out to the White House for the sole purpose of pressing POTUS to remain in the deal. 5% shared, POTUS D-class. Syria, Iran, plus Uranium One connection. So let's move on to the next post. This is May 8th, 2018. Today, evil lost control. Leverage of Iran. Today, POTUS took control of Iran. Today, with pending sanctions and military actions, POTUS will gain more ammunition and intel against them. Suicide watch, the deal kept Iran quiet. The goal was to keep POTUS until impeachment term in. Bigger than people can imagine. Treason is 1/10. Ask yourself, why are they pending? Ask yourself, why is the United Kingdom, France, and Germany so involved? Trips to the White House, why are they hiding? Why is HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton, in New Zealand? Is New Zealand part of the Five Eyes? Why is this relevant? Read crumbs regarding Iran. It was never about, I don't know what WWF, that's World War Safety and Security. It was never about nuclear disarmament. It was about opening a new untapped market. It was about securing a black slate. The exchange, Uranium One. Risk to the world for the world? Why? Money? Organized plan by Bill Clinton, HRC, carried out by Obama. So we'll get into some of these other ones here. Now again, this is 2018. Free Iran. Fight, fight, fight. Regime change? People have the power. We stand with you. Now we have General Flynn talking about a regime change coming. So pretty interesting. But again, this is all good, right? Future proves past. These were the good white hats that are, had to, release the shot and alter people's DNA, put in Palantir systems, usher in the crypto and everything else. But they're good guys. And again, the masses are going to believe it because they're going to say, oh, once you present a bad guy, there has to be a good guy, right? That's what they're going to see. We stand, this is June 27, 2018, so this is coming up almost 6 years ago. We stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom, because their new regime won't be installed either, right? True rule, the people have the power. Rise up and demand they be removed. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. We stand with you. We are monitoring the situation closely. Stay close. This is June 20th. False flag prevented. Next, immigration, child separation, narrow changing. Iden talking points. Distract IG reports here in Korea. Iran next. Regime in trouble. Are they in trouble right now? People awake. So again, this is all right in this time frame. This is 2 days would be a 6-year delta. The people are sick. Winning. Watch Iran. This is August 28th, so this could be maybe 2 months from now. Something incredible is about to happen. The good people of Iran have the power. Fight for your freedom. So that's there. Let's see what else. Okay. All right, so here, let's get on to this now.
Share some of what you've told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
So keep going. What do I say? I speak to him every day. He's a good man, doing a lot. Been very unfairly treated by his country, I think. Very unfairly treated.
Have you given him any indication that you may seek to aid them more than you have already?
No, I haven't.
He told Benjamin Netanyahu, keep going. He's being treated unfairly. Benjamin Netanyahu. Shocker. Here, Keir Starmer calls for urgent Cobra meeting to take place in just hours. Let me open this up for a second. Oh, man, hold on a second. So, I want to show you something. It's odd they picked the word Cobra. Why is this moving? Hold on, maybe it just froze up a little bit. There we go. All right, let me pop this up. So, Circumventor hold an urgent Cobra meeting in a matter of hours. So, what is a Cobra meeting? So, watch this. It is a Cobra meeting in government. Cobra or COBR is shorthanded for the Civil Contingency Committee that is convened to handle matters of national. So I'm trying to. So then here it says down here, Cabinet Office Briefing Room. So that's COBR. Why did they choose A to finish it? Right? Excuse me 1 second, you all. Okay, I'll get it. I'll do it again. I'm sorry, my wife came home. So anyway, so they have a Cobra meeting. Interesting with their fascination with snakes, isn't it? All right, so let's go here. And I still have some time to go in, and I'm currently 1 hour and 5 minutes in the video. How about this? So this is a cute post. Hunters become the hunted. Patriots in control. Like I said, we got to watch the false light. Now listen to what Mr. Trump said here.
What gave you the idea to do this?
I've had it for a long time. The first time I had it, but you guys were after me. I said I had to focus. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference.
That's an interesting choice of words, right? Here, look what Amazon replaces over 100,000 workers with 750,000 robots. They say, who the hell wants to be here in this world? So there's that. This caught my attention. So President Xi, I'm going to open this up for you. I'll come back and I'll share you what that post is. So President Xi blasts tariff war, protectionism, and China Central Asia Summit. So let me close this real quick. So Astana, Kazakhstan, China's prime minister on June 17th slammed tariff wars and protectionism. So this meeting just took place, I think this was yesterday, or no, sorry, June 16th. I'm sorry, June 16th this took place. Now this is interesting. Now I've watched this before. I keep an eye on this. So this is Astana, Kazakhstan. So when I shared this here, and I'll show you a couple other things as we go along, but Astana, Kazakhstan. So I put, when I shared this post, I put Xi meets Satana, an anagram for Astana. Now, this year, I pulled up the Expedia page here. So I want to show you the Kazakh Air Force logo. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that look like the, let me pull it up real quick, Nebuchadnezzar statue? Well, I don't even know how to spell Nebuchadnezzar. There we go. Statue, here we go. Nebuchadnezzar statue. So look at this here. These wicked monsters. So look at this statue, right? Do we see some similarities here? Oh, yeah, we do. What are the chances? So I had that. That's in there. And I have other things like this share. So it's interesting now because let me see if I can pull up Astana, Kazakhstan. Let me see if I can show you the occult symbolism here. Hold on. Let me see images. I got images. They have. I'm just going to encourage you all to take a look. I've shared stuff like this before in videos, but they have a phoenix here. I mean, they have everything they have in their whole rising phoenix. Let me see. Anyway, you'd have to pull it up. You pull up on like Rumble, pull up a video, and then check out some of the imagery with this. I mean, this is strictly satanic here. But interestingly enough, they have a council of 200 peacemakers. The 70s of culture and adventure. I just saw this statue look like the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. Interesting. Anyway, they have this council at their meeting where they have the phoenix. You just have to see the imagery, the pyramids and everything with 200 councils. Now, people that follow Q stuff, they said that Donald Trump was invited to run by 200 generals. Well, that's interesting too, because now I know this is extra biblical text, but in the book of Enoch, the fallen watchers. So how many generals? 200 fallen angels. So coincidentally, the book of Enoch talks about 200 fallen angels with Satan. Satan and the other angels were the 200 that fell with him. Well, that's convenient, isn't it? They are legion, right? They are legion. They did say that earlier. So I do find that interesting there. Now, when the fallen angels fell, where did they fall? At Mount Hermon, right? And that's also was prior to the Paris Meridian. That was at the 33-degree latitude, 33-degree longitude of the world. Probably just a coincidence, right? So obviously, I don't want to go over too much of the Iranian stuff. Just in the United Kingdom, the MPs, they vote in favor to decriminalize abortion to make the biggest law change in more than 50 years. Women will no longer face prosecution for aborting their baby for any reason at any age, allowing women to end the life of their unborn children right up to birth. Like I said, it's just a matter of time. Here, let's listen to what they're saying about Trump here.
Not going to characterize what President Trump says or tweets, for that matter. He doesn't need characterizing. He's one of the most transparent, one of the most clear individuals that we've known. I think that we can take his word for his word, but I'm not going to speculate on, in a larger sense, what that would mean. That is up to the president. He is the singular guiding hand about what will be occurring from this point forward, as he has been. And I think that dynamic is pretty clear. He says he wants an end.
Single guiding hand. Jordan King tells European Parliament Israel's expansion of its offense. Jordan's King tells the European Parliament Israel's expansion of its offensive to include Iran is a threat to people everywhere. So again, people are choosing sides. They're choosing their alliances. I did see this area yesterday. So these are all marathon runners that had heart failures, heart attacks there. Why could we be from that? Don't blame the father of the vaccine, right? It was the dark hats that were responsible for that. I'm sure you all see there. So again, I can only imagine what the protests are going to build up there, and people are going to choose sides. But this was a mayoral candidate being attacked and arrested. So again, you want to start a pot. I pulled this up in sequence with another thing. So this is the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Now, if we know how they're the prince of the power of the air, it's interesting. It's the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. So if you took Satan, Natas also equals Satan. And how do they manipulate people? Through the arts and sciences. Probably just a coincidence. Anderson Cooper signs with top Hollywood agent amid speculation of CNN exit. I'm sure he's already signed by the CNN Hollywood agent at the CIA somewhere. I'm going to skip over that stuff. I saw this was I saw a volcano. Now that we see the volcanoes, the earthquakes, and everything we're having, so I pulled up a couple of recently, just the volcano. So this massive volcano in Hawaii, that was on 6/12. This was the Guatemala's volcano on 6/5. 6/17. This was yesterday. This was Indonesia's volcano. Again, that's it there. Look at this. I mean, dude, our world, it's working closer and closer. I pulled this up. Did I share this?
Saved.
Oh, okay, this is the video.
And it's through belief in Christ alone, and it is that simple.
Close that. Here's this monster. I'm sure you've probably seen this. You've seen this here. I'm not going to try to go over things here. How about this? Can you guess which one of these videos is AI? Something. They said truth will be thrown to the ground. We're not going to know what's what. Here, breaking. The government is considering introducing a digital ID, the Brit card, for all United Kingdom citizens. Elon Musk gives Iranians access to Starlink after regime blocks internet. So in this awakening, which we got to consider both sides of the chessboard, right? This awakening, we got Mr. Good Guy here, right? Mr. Brain Chip. Their internet's being lost there, but he's going to make sure they have internet so they can receive the truth, because X is a free speech platform, unless you're showing the real truth, the truth of the gospel and exposing these people. Also, Elon Musk, this is his estranged transgender son, Vivian, performs on stage in an anti-ICE drag show to raise money to pay for legal bills for illegal immigrants. I don't know if any of you saw this. Residents of Texas City, Texas, told to shelter in place after a massive fire erupts at an oil refinery. I don't know. Was that terrorist? Like I said, we're going to see our country's going to be some real turmoil coming up, I believe. There's that. Let's see what else I want to share here. Why did I pull this up? So someone shared this here, so let me see if I can. I don't know why I have this. Ryan, Iran's next. That's some Marty's post here. All right, I don't know why I shared that. Anyway, I'm going to go on. How about this? I don't know if you just call it this one here. They talked to an astronaut yesterday who's on the moon, who's a soldier. So our soldiers are up on the moon now, too, with all this space lines.
As young Americans across the country get to see all of the amazing things that the Army has done, whether it's helping with floods in North Carolina or wildfires in California, or we talked to an astronaut yesterday who's on the moon, who's a soldier, including actually going to war and fighting to defend the.
We got Katy Perry shooting up into space. We got shoulders going hanging out on the moon now. It's incredible. Come really far. I'm going to pull this video up. This is actually a really good video if you're still trying to wake up friends and family just to, not the Bible, or, geez, I mean, ultimately that's our end game. But sometimes, like I said, that's why I try to scare people to hopefully start them up to look more, and then we can bring them to Jesus. But this video is pretty good. It's called
Is back pain killing your workout?
And it's on. It's called The Agenda: Their Vision, Your Future, 2025, by Oracle Films. That's the name of the channel. Oracle Films: Their Agenda, Their Vision, Your Future, 2025. So it's a pretty good video for sharing. Let me see if there's anything else I want to share. Democratic's John Centerman was spotted out to dinner with a MAGA icon at a conservative hotspot in Washington, apparently on his wedding anniversary. I looked at this, I'm like, this totally looks like a guy. You start seeing the gender inversion everywhere. So that pictured into it. But let me pull up a couple other pictures. Like you said, everything's just so whacked anymore in our world. Let's put up John Fetterman wife. Look at some of these pictures. Something just doesn't look right to me. I mean, I'm looking at these pictures. This looks like a dude to me. Try and see if I can get a shot there. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, how do you know anything anymore? Everything's so crazy. Like, that looks like a straight up guy. I don't know. Oh, yeah, how about this? Trump issues executive orders to accelerate domestic drone production, including flying cars for EMS, air taxis, cargo, and defense. So I'm keeping an eye on that. European Union unveils digital strategy pushing digitalized systems and online censorship. Apple is now promoting a digital ID, which will be available with their new iOS update. Here we go.
Passport. While not a replacement for your physical passport, digital ID can be used for domestic travel at supported TSA checkpoints, in apps, and in person, where age and identity verification are required. And while at the airport, you'll appreciate refreshed boarding passes and wallet, which now include convenient access to indoor mapping that gets you around the airport quickly. Find My to track your bags right from the boarding pass and shareable live flight status, so loved ones can keep track.
Coming like a freight train. All right, that's just rain stuff. Like I said, you're probably all watching that. I mean, like I said, I just shared. So here's this wicked monster.
Stephen Colbert said that seeing a woman play Jesus is long overdue.
One of my favorite musicals of all time is Jesus Christ Superstar. I love that. And I'm so excited that in August you're going to be playing Jesus.
That's right.
In Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl.
That's right, yeah.
At the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
First woman to play Jesus in a major production. Long overdue. I've said for years I'd love to see a woman in that part.
You know, my wife and I, we've always said before, like, you know, how much we'd like to come back as, you know, warriors with Christ and slay these wicked monsters and stuff at the end times. But, you know, the Lord says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And, you know, we just hope that we get a front row seat because these monsters are so wicked. So we see here, this was in Ireland. Again, you're seeing this uprising from all the mass migration in different countries. All these countries, Paris has fallen, England's fallen. This is Ireland. So, you know, the citizens are getting mad. They're starting to rebel and fight against them. So. Something's coming. Here's where it's actually showing that this was on CNN. Legal immigrants are totally turning against the Democratic Party's support for illegal immigrants. So they showed how much that's shifted that way. Range of options. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show. I think I'm almost done, so I did wrap this up. But yeah, let's just look at what's going on around the world right now with the riot. So the world's on fire by their manipulated stuff. Oh yeah, this is we'll cover this, especially for anybody that's local that might be seeing this. This New Jersey vaccine bill is terrifying, and lawmakers just approved it. This stands out one of the scariest things New Jersey has done in a long time. If you ask me, you can thank Senator John Vitale for pushing it forward. Here's what's happening. A bill called S3240 just passed the Senate Health Committee. If it becomes law, every single person in New Jersey who gets any kind of vaccine will be automatically entered into a government tracking system. It's called New Jersey Immunization Information System. And yes, it's exactly as creepy as it sounds. And what's even worse is that you're automatically enrolled. You don't even get a choice unless you go out of your way to opt out. State officials would have the ability to deny a request to opt out from the registry based on a few situations. An officially declared public health emergency, well, they would only declare it if it was serious, right? An officially declared state of emergency, an outbreak of communicable disease, the officially determined threat of an outbreak of a communicable disease. So they can just, if they say it is, right? We just got to take their word for it because they would never lie to us. Austria school attack leads to 10 dead and several more. I got to think some of these Iranian soldiers and so forth and these Muslims that have come in, I think we're going to see them start stabbing people because that's what they do in all these other countries. So just to cause more chaos. Let me see if there's anything else. This was all stuff from the week and a half ago. This was the Guatemala earthquake or volcano, excuse me. Let me see if else I want to share. I'm almost done. I'm going to wrap this up. That was the military moving in. Like I said, there's so much information. I mean, this is when the Colombian presidential candidate Miguel Uribe was shot in the head after an assassination attempt. These things just come and go. It's like no big deal anymore. I think it was the Prime Minister of Japan a couple years ago was assassinated. It was in the news for like a minute and it was gone. What else? Universal artificial blood may reach hospitals by 2030. So you can get artificial blood right now. I mean, if you want it, let me go. I don't want it. I would take that probably. I wouldn't take anything to be honest. But like I said, to take vaccinated blood from someone, a blood donor, yeah, no, thank you. Parents can choose genetic makeup of their children with new IVF options that are even enhancing this stuff further. Lab babies, I'm sure this is what Lord in Heaven would want. Peter Thiel, I'll play this. I think you know what, this is going to be my last feel. Let's listen to this wicked guy here. Let's listen to what he talks about.
But in some sense, the Antichrist as an idea is something that really comes into being in the world after Christ. And so there's, and then there's a lot of things about it that are mysterious. In some ways, the Antichrist copies Christ. The Antichrist pretends to be greater than Christ, hyper-Christian, ultra-Christian, and then maybe only ultimately, deeply anti-Christian.
Okay. So
and then you can think of it as a system, where maybe communism is a one world system. So it can be an ideology or a system. And then of course you can also think of it as Newman did, where it's sort of the final dictator of the one world state, where it's still, you stress it more as a person. You can think of it as a type, a system, a person. It has something to do in this post-Christian, it's something that's sort of a possibility in this post-Christian world.
It's post-Christian world. That's Trump's guy, right? Champion no high laws. Just this time, my beautiful Christians. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap today. I told you I would keep it under an hour and a half, so it's at an hour and 24. I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you'll share this with others. Time's getting close, so don't wait, don't delay. If you've watched my stuff and hasn't done it yet, I hope you will turn to Christ. And I hope anybody that does this will seek out the truth. And that's why I have my website. It's there for anybody. Go to my Revelations page. Go through the content there, and you will know the truth. Absolutely. Please share this with others. Thank you for your time. As always, God bless. Always remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Mike Malone, Watchman44, signing out.